Welcome back to the Cheese with a Side of Sammich Podcast. I'm Sammich, and I believe I just killed our host, Chubby Cheese. Shawnee C, you okay?
Welcome back, it's podcast time! I must have died 1,000 times, 'cause I'm so sorry for putting this on YouTube. Hi, Sam!
Hi, Sean.
I'm screaming into my microphone. I apologize. That was really funny. Sam just busted out with that, and I fucking, oh my god.
Yeah. Should I do it again?
No, we're opening with that. I love
Welcome back, it's podcast time!
No.
It's not even really my singing voice.
We should just open every episode with a different song. And see how far we can go with that bit.
Don't believe me, just watch. Come on!
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh man, that might be a thing. Oh, well, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Sorry for the rude awakening.
Welcome back.
How was your week, Sam?
It was good. So my roommate and I, we ended up building like 2.5, I say half, bookshelves to put all of her books on.
Can you have half a bookshelf? I
Yes,
mean, if it's a shelf it's a bookshelf.
When it's a small bookshelf, yes, it's a half a bookshelf
Okay.
compared to the other two that were full size, like 6 footers.
So we're getting into the theory of relativity with your bookshelves.
Yes.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
We basically made a library for her corner in her room.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. So, and we filled up all 3 bookshelves, 2.5 bookshelves. So we're gonna go buy another one and just kind of slowly move the television and everything else out of the room.
That's cool.
And just
I
make
need
a
to do
giant
something
library.
like that. My apartment needs some love as far as furniture goes.
You got your pop figures.
I do have. I collect pop figures, and I have so many of them, but I'm running out of places to put them.
They're this generation's Beanie Babies. They're just
They
all
really
over
are.
the
They're amazing.
fucking
I mean, like, I have
place.
no intention of selling them. Like, I took them out of the box.
Yeah.
I just genuinely adore them.
Do you know how many you have so far?
I think I have 30-ish, 30 or 40. I used to have more. My ex-fiance took a bunch of them.
Oh, I was gonna say, really, only 30
Yeah.
some? Because it looks like a
I
lot
have-
more. They're all
I
crowded
have a
all
lot.
over.
There
the
may be
place.
more. I mean, honestly, I don't have a good running total. Do you want to hear what I did with my weekend?
No.
My weekend,
I didn't ask.
I had the most
Wasn't done.
productive, active weekend of my life. I did 2 different marathons on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday I watched Game of Thrones Season 2, and then Sunday I watched all of Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, and 3, because I have a friend who had never seen it before in her life. So I was introducing her to the majesty that is Krieg der Stern. Why? Don't walk away. No, Sam, no, I don't. Wait.
You're confusing me with somebody who looks like they give a fuck.
I mean, that's just rude, yo. I mean, I'm just trying to share
Anywho.
intimate details about my life.
Sorry.
What
Go
happened?
on.
What
So
happened?
Game of Thrones season 2.
No, what happened with your weekend? It's so much more interesting than mine.
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, yeah. I like that you shot me down.
Yeah.
Man, I was riding high on my whole watching movies and Game of Thrones.
Welcome back. It's podcast time.
All right, that cheered me up. So, oh my god! So I'm watching the waveform as we're doing that, and it just fucking skyrockets. It's hilarious.
Good.
So you just built You built podcast. You built a podcast this weekend, and then now we're recording it.
Yeah.
So you built the bookshelves. You put the books on the bookshelves, I presume.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We cataloged them all too.
How did you catalog the books?
Veronica did it. Ronnie. She wrote them all by series and then by author, and it was a nightmare.
So, like, is it like the Dewey Decimal System?
No, not even. She just kind of wrote them down as we were going. She would write by series, what series it was, who it was by, and then like the number of books that were in the series.
Okay.
And she's gonna get more from there, and it's getting kind of insane. Anyway, your weekend was a lot more entertaining than mine.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be rude.
Yeah, I could really tell by your reaction to what I did this weekend.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, I'm on my binge of Game of Thrones season 2. Season 2 is a really good season. I'm really glad I got into it because now that I have investment in it, it's so enjoyable.
Is it?
It's so actually like I'm so invested into so many of the characters whom I know die.
Yeah.
Like, I know all of these characters are gonna die. But I stopped doing the live tweeting about halfway through the second marathon.
I kind of noticed that you just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I stopped. It stopped being funny to me.
Aww.
I guess. And I had one person be like, "Yo, I haven't seen it. I gotta stop following you." And I'm like, "No, that's kind of a dickish thing that I'm doing." That and it wasn't that funny anymore. So
it's season 2, and they're.
I know they've had their chance.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with when like The Hobbit came out.
Yeah.
When it came out on film, Thorin dies, but the book had been out since 1939, so I had no problem spoiling that for anybody because it's a big part of that book.
Yeah.
It's actually not. It's like 2 sentences. It's like Fili and Kili die, and also Thorin died during the battle, and then that's it.
People don't read fucking books. They'd rather watch the movie, which is fine.
Well,
to a degree.
I think movies are a lot more approachable than a book is.
Yeah.
A book is a commitment. Like I'm not a gigantic reader. I like books. I'm currently reading the Sherlock Holmes collection because Sherlock Holmes is my favorite literary character. I'm reading that, but like I don't do it actively. It's so much of a time commitment to read a book as opposed to watching a film based on a book.
Benedict Cumberbatch is actually a really great Sherlock.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah. It's one of my favorite shows, and I'm bummed it's over. Over, he said, with quotation marks.
I don't think it is. I actually really didn't like this last season was the only one I didn't like. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. This was the only one. I don't even want to say I didn't like it. It was just such a different kind of a feel to it, and there's a tragedy, as you know. Sure. I feel like it was kind of forced upon.
Well, I don't know. Sherlock is one of my favorite shows. Yeah. And Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal is amazing, but it's such a deviation from how the books are written that it felt new, and it could take twists and turns that some of the movies couldn't. Like when Sherlock dies. When his fight with Moriarty, no matter how the method is, he lives. Because that's a big part of the book. Which originally, interesting fun fact about Sherlock, when Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, wrote the books, he did kill off Sherlock. Yeah, oh yeah. And people were so upset over that. They would write him hate mail. They made him bring him back to life. Yeah. Which I feel super bad for. As like, I could understand an author wanting to be done with a series. Like, I get that J.K. Rowling wants to kind of be done. Well, she's done with Harry Potter. She's not done with the Wizarding Universe. Right, I get that. But, like, I can understand her wanting to be done with Harry Potter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which she's not. Yeah, she keeps posting shit on Twitter. Yeah. No, Pottermore. Which is Pottermore, fine. Yeah. That's fine. I'm okay with it. Did you ever, in high school, in, like, middle school, did you read the books they assigned? What was your philosophy? How would you get through the class? I was a really bad student, so I just kind of drew all over my notebooks and everything. I really didn't pay attention. Although Fahrenheit 451 is my favorite book I never read. Nice. So, well, there was a handful of books I actually read. Yeah. Like I read all the Shakespeare books that we were assigned because I love Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. You can recite Shakespeare, too. I do. I like Shakespeare, and I don't want to toot my own horn by doing it right now, but... Yeah, we will. Do it! All right. Let me now! Let me get in the mood! Right now! All right. Right now! Right now! To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. Yay! Sean had to do that in high school and never forgot it.
Yay!
No, there's a lot of good Shakespeare lines that I like. But I read all the Shakespeare. I liked The Great Gatsby, kind of. The Great Gatsby. A lot of weird things happened in The Great Gatsby that's like, this would not happen in real life.
Seth MacFarlane did a really good explanation
all of his points, like, I encourage you to go watch the episode.
I'm beginning to think this isn't a very good book.
Because he's absolutely right. I had that thought reading the book.
Yeah.
Because, like, Gatsby dies because he's driving a car that's not his. No, he's driving his car, but somebody else was driving his car, or something like that.
Yeah.
He let somebody else drive his car, and while they were driving his car, he hit a woman, and then her husband saw that same car coming back and killed whoever was driving it, which was Gatsby, who did not even do the thing. It's weird.
I never actually got to read Gatsby.
It's I genuinely enjoyed it.
I've been meaning to. It's actually, I have a book bucket list, what I call, and I just write names of books. Yeah. I just write the names of books that I want to read, and Gatsby was one of them. And I actually had never even heard what it was about, and I tried really hard, and then I saw the episode of Family Guy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it is a good book. I won't say it's not a good book. It deserves its merit as like one of the great American novels.
To be honest, I was actually thinking about purchasing a couple of books that they had us read in high school and middle school because I want to reread them now that I'm an adult.
Now that you care?
Now that I actually...
Sure.
Back then, being told, "Hey, you got to read this and get yourself a grade," and then being, told, "This is fucking retarded."
Right.
Sorry, that was bad. I should have said that. This is fucking stupid.
That's retarded.
I don't like it. This is really stupid. You did a really bad job. Here's an F on your grade. I really didn't like.
I would just like to point out to our listeners that it was Sam who said the R word. Not
sorry.
Not me.
I'm sorry.
So please send your hate mail her way, not mine.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's all.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Anyhow.
I think it's a good, useful word. I don't like words that. I mean, how am I going to say this appropriately? I like using words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like that there are words that are off limits.
I guess that when I was younger, though, because I was doing so bad in school, and I mentioned this last podcast, I would always skip school because I got made fun of and stuff. People actually thought my teachers especially thought I might have been a little mentally retarded. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that like, oh, no,
that's a medical
I mean,
term.
like it's a medical
Yeah, it's a medical
like they
thing.
thought I was a little slow.
Yeah.
Which maybe I am.
I think the appropriate term now is special needs.
Yeah.
I think
I was actually in like a special classroom in elementary school too. For a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
They would just pull me out of class to try and teach me so I could catch up, and it just never worked. Anywho.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yes.
What we're talking about? So I liked The Great Gatsby. I liked To Kill a Mockingbird. I read that one.
Read To Kill a Mockingbird like 3 times in high school alone.
It's a good book. I use Yesum, YESSUM. I use that in casual conversation to this day. Like I'll get a call from across the room. Like my mom will be like, "Shut!" and I'll be like, "Yesum."
Okay, because I've done that to you too, and you're just like, "Yesum," but I thought you were saying "Yes, Sam."
No, Yesum.
Okay.
Which I believe I was corrected. I thought it was just a southern pronunciation of yes, just a colloquialism.
Yes.
Like a yes, queen.
Yes,
But it's actually yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Is the
cool.
I did not know that. I use it in terms with men because I don't give two shits. But I don't like words that are off limits. I think every word has its use and its function. Now there are certain words I get. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I would never use the N-word in casual conversation.
No.
You know what I mean? I would never use.
No, shouldn't use it. Anyway.
Well, yeah,
really.
it was the thing. It's like I don't know. I feel like with jokes, like with humor, and nothing is off limits, but there's a time and a place. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if I were to make like an abortion joke, I would not do it to somebody who's dealing with abortion. You know what I mean? They might not consider that particular time and place funny.
Yeah.
But like in another scenario, when that isn't a factor and it just happens to be a joke that I'm dealing with. I'm starting
to get uncomfortable. Sorry, guys. This is what Shawnee sees.
Yeah, I will own up to all of this. I believe everything should be funny. But there is a respectful time and a place. Now there are comedians who get around that.
Yeah.
And I love those comedians. I like that there's somebody who those rules do not apply to, because that's what comedy, I think, is all about.
Although, if you're, I've been to a couple comedy shows, and our friend has actually been to a comedy show, and they're rookie comedians, like they're just starting out, and they'll try and make fun of people in the audience, and they're just like,
it's never a good move.
No, don't do that.
It's
so if you're wanting to be an aspiring comedian, please don't do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, so there's a difference, like, with the N-word specifically. There's a difference between what, like, Michael Richards did, the guy who plays Kramer, why he got kicked out of comedy. There's a difference between what he did and, like, how Louis C.K. does his comedy. You know what I mean? Because it's a correct time and a place and context, and he makes it funny because of the way he uses it. And that's what I believe. It's not about using it in casual conversation. It's not about using it directly at somebody. There's a time and a place when that word, like in a joke, is appropriate.
Yeah.
Those are my beliefs on comedy.
There's also times where you have to learn why we don't say certain words like that.
Right.
We actually, like the N-word, like you were saying, people want to get rid of Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn from schools and whatnot because of that word.
And I disagree with that entirely.
Yeah.
It's very much...
We need to learn why it's bad, why we don't call people that. Like, even my African-American friends who still say it in regarding to other African-American friends, it's still...
Well, it's, you can't change history. All you can do is learn from it. And Mark Twain is one of those where it's very much of its time.
Yeah,
and it should be read in the context in which it was written. And it was really good. When I read it in class, my teacher... to all of us, was very much like, okay, there's a word in here that modern day, is very taboo that we do not use. But in the context of this book, as long as you are reading from the book, you are allowed to use this word. Because it is directly reflective of the book you're reading. And that's the right way to do that.
That's a good way to go through it, yeah.
And I respect a lot of schools for sticking to their guns about keeping Mark Twain.
Yeah.
Because it's...
Well, when I was younger, actually, I'm going to switch books right now. So when I was in 8th grade, my teacher had us read Elie Wiesel's Night.
I never read
which is about Elie Wiesel. It's an autobiography of a young Jew boy being stuck in Alcatraz. Oh my goodness.
I think what my co-host meant to say was Auschwitz. Which is different than Alcatraz.
I'm gonna go commit suicides.
It's alright.
Oh my goodness.
I think enough time
Sorry.
has passed.
Oh my goodness. We are all sorts of wrong.
No.
We're wrong every podcast. We say one thing that's wrong.
I'm feeling it.
Anywho. So we read that when we were in 8th grade, and when I got into high school, I read it again my sophomore year, I want to say. And when my sophomore teacher found out that the 8th graders were reading it, he was actually really mad because he didn't think that 8th graders back then were able to really understand and mature enough to really understand exactly what's going on, because there's a lot of flip-flopping in that book. That book is maybe just under 100 pages, if not just over. It originally was supposed to be like over 1,000.
Sure.
And my teacher just felt like, 8th graders don't have the empathy to really understand what's going on. So he actually wrote a really strongly worded letter, I guess. But I don't know. I understood it better in high school. Because my teacher also explained it a lot better. My teacher in middle school.
I think that's true. I think that's a good point. I think a lot of it does fall onto the teacher teaching it for how well the kids react to it. I know I got super into Shakespeare because the teacher who taught me Shakespeare my first time super passionate about Shakespeare. But it says a lot about the books you liked in school. I think are the ones that your teachers were excited about, or the ones that because there's definitely books that you feel that the teachers only teach because they have to for curriculum.
Yeah.
Like my example is when I was a junior. When I was a junior in high school, English was dedicated to American novels. So that was when we read Great Gatsby. That was when we read Catcher in the Rye, and then we were supposed to read. We read The Crucible, and we read what's the fucking name? The Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
Which is the one that he didn't like, and so what he did, how we did The Scarlet Letter, we didn't even read the book. we basically gave us the spark notes, the synopsis of each chapter, one day at a time. And then we just kind of like glanced over, well, these are the themes explored in this chapter, and here's the basic synopsis of what happens. And that was how we got through that book.
I guess that was America's first like really controversial
It was one of them, because it's about
it was
adultery.
Written in, what, 1803 or something
I
like
couldn't
that?
give you
Beginning
numbers,
of the
but that sounds right.
1800s
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Well, when we watched, and I think we watched The Crucible with Winona Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how we did that. We watched, it was the only year we didn't read Shakespeare, because Shakespeare's English. We read, Of Mice and Men.
Of Mice and Men was
which
a
I
really
love.
good one. Yeah.
I do love that.
You know, interesting story. Of Mice and Men was actually supposed to be a children's book originally.
It is not a children's book.
No.
Let me
No. Back then, it was. It was going to be a children's book. Like, they were going to teach it in elementary school and whatnot. And
he straight up murders a woman on accident.
Yeah, I guess it was a different time. I don't know.
Yeah, back when murdering women was, it's like he just murdered a couple women before breakfast,
Yeah, but, the school system basically decided, this is not for little kids.
It's not.
No, it's not. So they taught it in high school.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it now. I read a lot more books than I remember reading. Because I'm mentioning all these books. I read these books. Maybe it's just because I was a good student and afraid of getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Or I just remember the
I was a really bad
well.
student. I didn't become a good student until I got to college, where I got to learn what I wanted to learn. And my teachers actually gave a crap about
high school,
students and what
traditional
they're teaching.
school is not for everybody.
No.
College is really when you get into education.
Yeah, my teachers actually love what they're teaching, and they get to teach what they want rather than what the school system wants them to teach, too. Like, I'm not a big fan of Kerouac. Sorry to those fans who actually like Jack Kerouac. I'm not a big fan of Jack Kerouac, but I had a teacher who absolutely loved Jack Kerouac, especially on the road.
Who's Jack Kerouac?
He's a beatnik poetry writer.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like, he's known as the father of beatnik poetry.
Okay.
Or beatnik writing,
I'm going to pretend like I know what that is, but go ahead. Okay. I know what that is.
All right. So he was really into Jack Kerouac and whatnot. I couldn't really get into it. So when I wrote a paper, I ended up getting a C on it. But I had another teacher after him. She was really into symbolism, and that's where I realized my strong suit is when I'm writing papers. It's just symbolism, like this represents this or that. And I was really into it with her, especially because she cared. We talked a lot about it, and I ended up caring a lot more about it. The only thing I actually didn't really end up caring about was Love in the Time of Cholera. I never want to read that book again.
I never even read the book.
It's a good book, but having to write a paper on it was really hard.
There's a lot of books that
everybody.
people tell me, like, oh yeah, we read this, we read that, and I'm like, I didn't read any of this. I didn't read Fahrenheit 451. I didn't read 1989.
I read some of Fahrenheit 451.
1981, 1983 is one of the. It's one about Big Brother.
Yeah.
I didn't read that book. I didn't read Love in the Time of Cholera, and I didn't read. What was another big one that I? Anyway, like a lot of the ones I read, I felt were a lot more interesting, but it worked vice versa. Like I know a lot of people who went to high school and didn't read like Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah.
And didn't read like Scarlet Letter.
Yeah, I read Catcher in the Rye by myself, and then we ended up reading it in high school, and I reread it again. It's like the one.
It made me want to kill the phonies.
Apparently, it's also is what made the guy who killed John Lennon want to kill John Lennon
and Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Apparently.
They both people blamed Catcher in the Rye.
And Butters also wants to kill.
And that was what that joke came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill the phonies.
Which I don't know. I guess when I was a teenager and I was always complaining and shit, I kind of liked Catcher in the Rye. Not
sure.
Like to
well, we were, we're all Holden Caulfield. We all don't give a fuck and we hate people. Yeah.
My favorite book at the time when I was in high school, though, was actually The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which ended up being turned into a film with Emma Watson.
Emma Watson!
Yeah.
There's a weird moment in that movie that I'm like, why is this a thing? Where they're playing Spin the Bottle.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Yeah, they're playing Spin the Bottle.
The guy
Charlie.
Is asked like, all right, kiss the prettiest girl
in the room,
and he's with his girlfriend and doesn't kiss his girlfriend and goes and kisses Emma Watson, and I'm like, oh damn!
It's funnier in the book. Well, it's not funnier. It's a little more dramatic in the book though, because Okay. His girlfriend's next to him in the book.
Right.
And he stands up.
Yeah,
Sam, Emma Watson's character, is on the other side of the room.
I think that's how it is in the movie, too.
No,
it's not?
No, she's right next to him. So he stands up, so you can feel the tension in the book as you're reading it. Because he stands up and everybody's quiet because he's next to his girlfriend. Yeah. He walks across the room, sits down, and just kisses her.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, and he knows it's, like, really fucked up, too, and the whole book...
But you're bound by law, bound by oath when you're playing Spin the Bottle.
Yeah. Well, he was also really drunk or really high, too. So he's like, I could have blamed...
Those are the perks of being a wallflower, you know?
He even says, like, I could have blamed it on the alcohol, I could have blamed it on the drugs or whatever, but he just chose to finally be honest for once. He's just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't date you anymore.
Fuck.
Basically. Yeah,
anyway, I haven't even seen the whole movie, but I saw that bit, and I was like, what the fuck?
The movie is directed by the author of Perks of Being a Wallflower, Stephen Chbosky. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And he directed it and whatnot, so he kind of gave it some lighter tones, but there were some things that I kind of wished that he kept in the movie that were also in the book.
Sure.
Just here and there. Like, to me, I don't know, Emma Watson's character is more of a bitch. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, she's not a very good person in the movie. No,
well, I feel like that they make her a little bit of a better person in the movie.
Well, yeah. Again, I don't have the book to compare it to, so.
Yeah, there's some stuff that happens anyway. But yeah, we're talking books, I guess.
We're talking books.
Talking books.
What are you gonna do? I remember what's another book from my childhood. So did you have to read Shakespeare?
I read, Romeo, Juliet, and Macbeth. Macbeth,
because there's like three you read. At least I read. It was Romeo and Juliet, then Macbeth my sophomore year, and then it was Hamlet my senior year, and I liked Hamlet the most. Romeo and Juliet is like straight up garbage, and I don't know if it's actually garbage or if it's just so overdone.
Back then, it was basically modern day Twilight, from my understanding.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that are derivative of Romeo and Juliet, like the sequel to The Lion King.
Oh,
Lion King 2 is Romeo and Juliet.
Well, I was thinking more like Pride and Prejudice.
Right, exactly. That's a very common theme to have a love story where they can't love each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or they hate each other. Yeah. Whatever. They can't be together. There's something keeping these people from being together, whether they hate each other.
When you look back, when you take a step back from Romeo and Juliet, like, it's a pretty shitty love story because it's about two 13-year-olds and they
can't cope, so they kill themselves.
Well, it's like it's two 13-year-olds. It lasts like 2 weeks, and like 3 people end up dying.
And all that they really had to do was like calm their shit down.
Just calm the fuck down.
Yeah, if Romeo had just calmed down instead of killing himself over Juliet, and just sat down with her, because what was it? The spell will break if he just lays down next to her. If he just like laid down next to her. Or sat down, whatever. She would have woken up and all would have been fine.
I really liked Hamlet. And Hamlet is what Lion King was based on.
Yeah.
Which, when I learned that blew my goddamn mind.
I don't know why I don't like Matthew Broderick.
You don't like Matthew Broderick?
I don't know what it is. Just his voice. I don't like his voice acting work.
He's the most amazing human being. I
don't like his
Sam, you've woken up
work.
A demon in me right now. Matthew Broderick is the star of so many of my favorite fucking movies.
Oh, he's good in Ferris Bueller.
From the 80s. Well, he's Ferris Bueller, but he's also in War Games. He's also in The Producers. He's also Simba.
Well, that's what I'm getting.
So you just don't like Simba, him as a voice actor?
I guess, because like him playing Simba, I just really feel like
you cannot watch
Ferris.
I don't even like 80s movies. There are like 4 80s movies that I like.
I love 80s movies.
Ferris Bueller is one of them.
I love 80s movies.
And so is War Games.
I love 80s movies.
They're very tropey by modern day standards. Is my problem. It's like Breakfast Club. Like I cannot get behind.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of Breakfast Club I don't know. I wanted to like it more, but
I just hate how every 80s movie ends with the unattractive girl suddenly getting hot. And then
all
the
they
main
really
guy
did was fix her hair or something.
Yeah, the main guy is just like, oh, why am I being a douche to you?
I was more sad that the little blonde guy in Breakfast Club actually didn't end up with anybody. Like, it would have been more believable to me if, like, the hot, pretty girl, Molly Ringwald, ended up asking him out.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
I'm sure it was written that way for a reason.
Sorry, I'm just kind of realizing how we hate everything.
We do. We are a hateful group of people.
I'm sorry, everybody.
What else do we hate? Dude,
You hate sour cream.
Fuck sour cream. It belongs nowhere on my Mexican food. And it belongs... The only place I accept sour cream is when it's mixed with, like, onion dip for chips. That's the only time sour cream is appropriate.
Why do you hate everything that's wonderful in life?
I also hate... I hate bananas.
I love bananas.
I hate pasta. All pasta. Like, as a baby, I would not eat spaghetti. Like, it's not just me being an adult being obstinate. Like, it's just something inside of me does not want anything to do with pasta. I like noodles. But, what are you going to do? And then I also hate, I like beans. Beans are gross. I love Mexican food, by the way. But I don't like beans. I don't like sour cream. I don't like chunks of tomato. It's just gross. I need my tomato to be puree.
You will not survive at my house.
I know. I get told that. I get told that a lot. I also eat my corn dogs weird. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
What, like long ways?
Yeah. So right, when I eat corn dogs, I have to make 3 corn dogs because there's a system that I have of how I eat corn dogs. So you eat the first corn dog, you eat it like normal. You bite down, you just get to the end. The second corn dog is a journey, let me tell you. The second corn dog, you eat the cornbread off of it and then dip the remaining hot dog in ketchup. It's super amazing. And then, because you can't finish on just the hot dog, you have another corn dog that you eat normally. I have eaten corn dogs this way since I was like 4 years old.
What's wrong with you?
There's a system in place with reasons why I do the things I do.
It's just ingrained in your brain since you were
a
baby.
It's just what I have to do. Like it's almost like an OCD thing, and I don't like saying that because it makes light of OCD. But like if I don't do it that way, it feels like something's just wrong.
Yeah.
Like the planets are no longer aligned.
Yeah, we're all kind of OCD.
Well, we all have our things.
We all have our things.
We all have our things that we need, and are all the things that makes us anxious and.
Yeah.
But I have to eat corn dogs that way.
I used to do this thing, like if I'm touching or tapping my fingers or whatnot with one hand, I would have to do it with the other to even it out.
I shake my foot. I don't know if you ever see me do it when I'm sitting down. I bob my foot in a rhythm, and I don't even consciously control it. It's just a thing I do.
Well, everybody kind of does that.
Everybody's got a tick.
Everybody's got a tick.
Yeah.
On their back.
Books! What are we talking? We're talking about books.
The blood out of you.
What is your favorite?
I have no life. Someone send me help.
Sam.
What?
What is
I'm
your?
Sorry, I think I was in a trance.
What is your favorite book of all time?
It depends on what I read last, really.
What?
Yeah.
Your favorite book is the last book you read?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's a perks of being
Guys, can you help me? Audience,
line.
can you please come and
Well, I mean, let's face it.
Save
Harry
me.
Potter is like the greatest series of all time.
Yeah, but Harry Potter is
Really.
my favorite book.
But yes. Yeah, true. I have several, really. Like, Perks of Being a Wallflower. Perfume. You know what? Perfume, The Story of a Murderer is one of my favorite books of all time. By Patrick Zuskind? Zuskind, yes.
Yeah,
Basically, it is about an orphan whose name is Jean-Baptiste Grenouille. It's set in, like, 1800s Paris or so. And it's about this boy who has a very good sense of smell, and he grows up to become a tanner and is then traded off and lives with a perfumer. And he has this very, very just keen sense of smell. Like, he smells better than a dog. And you get just these visions of scent, and which are both disgusting, yet they sound so appealing. Like, you want to go and smell like a little bit of sour milk with maybe like a little bit of warm fish and the salt from the waves.
I imagine it's
and
very
whatnot.
descriptive.
It's very descriptive. The first part actually had me very tired and sleepy and whatnot, but getting to the second part was definitely fucking amazing. Anywho, so Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, he ends up smelling this young virgin one day. And he starts to follow her, and because he's so allured by this scent, and he basically murders her. Sorry, I squeaked there. He murders her.
That sounds like a foreseeable series of events.
Yes. He wants to capture her scent, so that's why he becomes an apprentice to the perfumer, so he can learn how to capture scent. Later on, he eventually ends up kidnapping and murdering several young virgins in order to make the ultimate perfume, which is known to just be the most amazing.
That's your favorite book?
Yes, because
Holy
it's amazing
fuck.
and terrifying, and it is beautiful. And there's a movie too. I saw the movie first, and then I found out there was a book. I'm like, I have to read this.
Who's in the movie?
Ben Whishaw, who plays Jean-Baptiste Grenouille. I don't know who he is. Rachel Hurdwood plays...
Anybody famous? Or...
Alan Rickman and Dustin Hoffman are both in there.
Alan Rickman and Dustin... All right.
Alan Rickman plays the father of the main woman who Jean is trying to kill because she has just the most amazing scent. And Dustin Hoffman plays the perfumer.
So...
There's quite a few
Do they ever go in the book? Because now I'm curious. I'm going to take you down a line of questioning about this book.
Yeah.
Do they ever explain what particularly the scent comes from in a virgin?
Depends. It's everything. Like he'll say like her hair, like one woman, if I'm remembering right, her hair smelled like rose petals, but her genitals smelled like kind of like old fish and rotten milk. And like I know it sounds really gross, but like there's this odd scent of like some old stuff that you think kind of smells like it's a little rancid, but it smells like there's something. It's
rancid, but it's like kind of nice.
Kind of nice, yeah. But he mixes it up with like scents that are really alluring to us, like the salt from the sea and whatnot, and it's just so interesting, and it makes us just imagine these smells. It puts these ideas in our heads.
It's not a good idea. I want to have in my head what a virgin smells like.
Like a virgin. Touched for the very first time. And he murders her. Anywho. But yeah, that's one of my favorite books. And I need to read it again. It's on my bookshelf. I have several books I need to read.
Oh my god, that's just...
The next book I'm going to read, actually, after rereading Harry Potter, is Winter's Tale. Which is also a movie that I found that I didn't really understand that much, but I found out it's a book. Gonna read the book. So that's my next one on the list.
I think my favorite book is probably The Hobbit by Tolkien. And that's only because I like The Lord of the Rings as an entirety. Mm-hmm. Like if the entire thing was one book, I would say Lord of the Rings, but because it's broken into three, like my favorite individual is The Hobbit. Because The Hobbit it's a story that's from beginning to end, and I grew up with it, and I just love it so much.
I haven't actually seen the Hobbit movies yet. Are they good? Are they true to the book? Yeah. So what happened is that I was just kind of waiting for all three to come out before I even watched it.
Well, I have them.
And I was in college at the time, and I'm poor.
Well, I have them. If you ever want to sit down and watch them.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are about to disagree with what I'm about to say.
So all two of you.
Wow. Maybe three.
I love you guys.
Awesome. We're getting like 20 views on average, okay?
You guys are cool.
Okay.
I like
I'm like
you.
one of those.
Thank you guys for coming back.
We love you. Can we just say...
We really appreciate it. We're a really small, independent channel.
Yeah, we love you. And
you guys are really sweet.
Share this video with a friend. Help us grow.
Shout out to Ivy, who is a friend of mine, but I still got fan art from them.
Oh yeah. Do we have her permission to put it up?
Yeah, she said they said it's mine, so we could totally do whatever we want.
Put up the fan art.
Put up the fan art. It's really cute. It is the
first bit of fan art we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
And
I'll make fan art for you, Chubby Cheese.
Sam, you are obviously not a fan of mine.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, at this point.
So all right, here's what the people.
I'm gonna take this channel.
Thank you everybody for listening and putting up with our shit.
Yeah.
But here's oh my god, Sam. Chubby
Cheese doesn't pay me.
Look, man.
Please. God. I'm under minimum wage here. Can't afford to feed my dog. Please. I have student debt.
He won't let me leave.
I just want some food.
We just record podcast after podcast after podcast. He won't let me leave.
He won't let me leave.
Okay. So the Hobbit movies. The Hobbit movies are good. They are good movies. Are they as good as Lord of the Rings? Not even close.
Really?
But they're still good. They're very padded out, and that's what everybody's big problem with them is. Because they do a lot of shit.
They did 3 movies.
Well, they did 3 movies on a book that's like 200 pages. Mm-hmm. But they add a lot of stuff from the Silmarillion, which is kind of like the lore book. There's not like one story that goes on in the Silmarillion. It's a bunch of little stories.
Yeah.
They put a lot of that into the movie. Like, at one point during The Hobbit, Gandalf leaves the group to go do something.
Yeah.
And in the book, they don't go into what he does. He just shows up again later. In the movie, they actually go into what he's off to go do. And there's a lot more world building that goes on. Would you like to share with the class what you've got going on your phone right now?
Sorry.
Because we all just heard it playing, so you might as well just go ahead. Come on, share it with the world.
No, I'm good.
No, it's all right. I'm gonna wait for you. It sounded like the Trollololo guy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Ho 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 ho.
I was watching the one with Christopher Lee.
Oh, all right. I do know. I'm aware of the video you are.
Anyway, go.
You are interrupting me with. But the actual movies themselves are good. The actual acting in it is very good. The world building is very good. There's some stuff in there that I'm like, okay, I guess. I think it should have been 2 movies, personally. Because like another big part of the book that they cut out, or that's in the movies but not in the book, is the Battle of the 5 Armies, which basically what happens is Bilbo gets knocked out at the very beginning of this battle and then wakes up at the end. And because the book is from Bilbo's perspective, they skip the entire war and we just learn who the victor was. In the movies, Bilbo gets knocked out, but we see the entire war. It's what the entire point of the 3rd movie. It's literally The Hobbit, the Battle of the 5 Armies, is the 3rd movie. And it's very good. It's a very good battle sequence, but it does last like an hour to do. So, take that what you will. They introduced a lot of characters who were not, like Legolas is in there, even though he's not in the book, but he would have been there canonically. He would have been around. Yeah. It's that kind of stuff that a lot of people disagree with. If it was a faithful recreation of the movie, it would have been 1, maybe 2 movies. Yeah.
But Hollywood needs to make their cash somewhere.
Well, that was I don't think that was a decision on Peter Jackson's part. I think it was Warner Brothers. Or not Warner, as New Line.
I was going to say, was it Warner Brothers?
New Line Cinema.
The only thing that Warner Brothers really had was Harry Potter for a while.
Harry Potter also has, or WB also has DC.
Yeah, which is
why it's being ruined.
Them, I feel. Yeah.
Well, WB has a problem with studio intervention. That's just their big problem. We could spend a whole hour talking about that. The fuck was it? Yeah, The Hobbit. I like the movies. I will show the movies to you.
Isn't Bonky Hort Cutie Brunch Smog?
Did you pull up on your phone a Benedict Cumberbatch name generator?
No.
Bandysnatch Cumberbun?
No.
Baldywart Cumbersnatch?
Build-A-Bear Cinnamon Roll?
Go on, just give me a few more. Get it all out of your system, Sam.
And now, Sammy D presents a dramatic reading of Benedict Cumberbatch's name. It's gonna take me a minute.
You're good.
Benedon Cucumber. Beneficiary Cumbersnatch. Bagadon Cabbage Patch. Benedokik Cumcucur Parch. I can't.
Do you need
even
help here? I
read
want to read that one. I got it. Hand me your phone. I want to read that one.
This isn't even English.
Whatever it is, I want it. I want it in my. Let me see. Oh yeah, Benedokit Cucumber Parch. Blender Dick Crumpet Snitch.
If I ever have the lucky chance to interview Benedict Cumberbatch, which I probably won't, I'm just going to
Benedict Cumberbatch, come on the show.
I love you.
I'm
probably never. I'm not even going to call him by his name. I'm just going to keep using.
Put this out in the Twitter sphere. We want Benedict Cumberbatch to do a show that maybe 20 or 30 people watch on regular.
Yeah. And then we'll get maybe 40 more.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get 40 total on that one video.
Oh my god! If we had Benedict Cumberbatch on, we would get so many views. We would get. I don't care about so many views though.
I care about my fans.
I know, but the fans would enjoy it. We would get so many fans.
Well, if I ever have the lucky chance to interview Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm not going to refer to him by name. I'm just going to keep calling him by funny names.
I'm sure he would love that.
Bannister Crumblebench is a good person. We were talking about books and Tolkien.
We were talking about books at some point. Well, Benedict Cumberbatch is in The Hobbit, so
yeah,
he's Smaug and the Necromancer,
and Sherlock,
Sauron, basically,
and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's in a lot of books. Even though Doctor Strange is comic book, which is well, that's I think why Sherlock isn't coming back. Is when they started Sherlock, both Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch were not very well known, but now they're super huge megastars. So to get them to come and basically film what are going to be 3 movies.
Benedict Cumberbatch is also just a phenomenal actor. Like if you've ever, like I watched him in the Imitation Game, about Alan Turing and the.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and the what was it? The the machine.
What are you talking? It's
Benedict
the
Cumberbatch and the machine though. Oh gosh,
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
The machine that they were calling it. I can't remember what it's called. The machine that Alan Turing invented.
The computer?
No, not.
They were trying to do the Enigma machine.
The Enigma code.
He didn't invent it. He was trying to crack
Alan Turing and cracking the Enigma code. Yes, sorry.
I think that's the book. The movie is called The Imitation Game.
I know. Sorry, you
look like you're having a hell of a time.
I'm having a diabetic seizure. Just a little bit. I need to take some insulin, and I really have to pee.
Well, don't tell the viewers that you gotta pee. You just do it in your pants like I do. You know, we gotta stay true to...
Shawnee C. is a diaper lover.
Oh, I'm sorry. That would imply that while I wet myself, I'm wearing diapers, and I don't stoop that low. I wet my underwear, my boxers, like a man.
This is why some people just don't come back.
This is why I don't have a whole lot of friends.
Thank you guys for staying.
We love you. Have we said that before? We genuinely adore you. I would like to be the mother of your children, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. I don't judge. I would like to be your mother.
They're probably not listening, but shout out to the Animal Crossers that I was playing with on Tortimer Island. Chrissy, Frank, and I forgot the other one. I am so sorry.
Wow, that's a really good shout out.
Yes.
Couldn't even remember
that.
Yes.
Just give me a comment below and you can yell at me and I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you guys are super cool. To everybody I was playing Animal Crossing with. You're awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, you're super sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really enjoy doing the podcast, and I know that we don't push it as much as we want, but like.
It's kind of bad sometimes.
Well, it's not that it's bad. I mean, like, it's only bad because you keep calling it bad.
This is the worst podcast on YouTube.
Oh, that's not even close to true. I've heard some bad podcasts.
Yeah.
Honestly, the fact that we are just 2 kids just having a good time.
We're having fun.
That's what makes it good. And
we hope that you're having fun too.
We hope you have fun listening.
Yeah.
Because, we'll talk about random things and we'll go off on tangents, but really, it's all about companionship and friendship and mutual attraction, not between me and Sam, but between me and the microphone in front of me, between Sam and her microphone, and us and you and the viewer. Have I told you how handsome you are today and or beautiful you are today, kind viewer? Because you are. And you deserve to be told that.
You are worth it.
You are worth it. Treat yourself. As Aziz Ansari once said.
I treated myself to ice cream today.
You did. You came to my door today with a whole thing of carne asada fries and a pint of mango sherbet.
Which has like 37 grams of sugar per half cup, and I'm a diabetic. I am an actual diabetic again, if I haven't made that clear by now.
And you were like, Sean, this is fucking happening. And I was like, okay.
And I died a little bit.
So, we're on a little bit of a sugar high right now.
I was dying. It was hot today.
It was really funny.
It was hot today.
Yeah. San Diego is not the best place to be right now. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been heat wave after heat wave, and it's just been hot.
I'm not going to say where, but I could think of a couple of places that are worse off.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about those places because it's not insulting unless you bring up those places. Sam.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, going back to books, we're gonna bring it home for our last 15 minutes. I wish I read more than I currently do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm a very slow reader personally. I was actually placed in a lower class for in college because I read so slow. Because they make you take testing to place you for math and English. and I was getting all these answers right, but I was so slow, so I couldn't finish the last 20-some questions or so.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because it's time. So they put me in a lower class, which actually really helped me. It helped me to better write papers,
well, that's good.
Which I kind of sucked at. And then I also learned how to read a little bit faster.
Well, okay. Well, it means that the school system worked.
For once.
Yeah, for you.
The school system actually worked. In college, they actually helped me out too, and my teachers were super invested, and they really wanted to help me.
When I was in college, we did. Okay, so here's my college story, and I don't recommend everybody follow in my footsteps on what I did, but here's what I did. I went to live on campus at a university. So when I was at university, what I did was I knew I wasn't at the school I wanted to do, but I was living on campus. And I was going to transfer schools to a local school here in San Diego. But I was in Arizona. And only one of my classes out of, I think, 7 I was taking were going to transfer. So what I did was I stopped going to 6 of my classes and only went to the one that was going to transfer, which happened to be an English class. And it kind of bums me out. I wish I hadn't, because there was a poli-sci class I was super into. There was a really good math class I liked, but none of the credits were so it just seemed like wasted effort. You know, what are you going to do? That was my 17, 18-year-old self being like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of kids, sadly, don't really take college, especially a junior college, seriously the first year or two. Like, I actually didn't really get into college until a year and a half later when I started
my situation was I wanted to go to this local school originally, but I got an offer to go to a 4-year, and my parents were like, no, you're going to go to the 4-year. But I'm like, but I don't want to. I want to go here. And they're like, yeah, but you're going to go to the 4-year. And I'm like, okay. And then after a semester, I'm like, I know this isn't what I want to do. Yeah. So I left. And that was me trying to save my parents money because I felt it was going to be a wasted education. But the one class I went to was an English class. And the chick, let me just describe this woman to you. She's probably 27 years old. Was like 4'10", and was a dancer.
Okay. Yeah.
You have a good visual image of what I'm talking about here?
Yeah.
She was...
Was she a student?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I think she had her master's in education, and I don't know why she was teaching English, but she was teaching English. Okay. Her passion was obviously dance. But we were having a debate. That was like one of the big focuses of our term. Yeah. Was debating. So she let us decide what we were going to debate as a class. And me and a friend of mine came up with who was better, Batman or Iron Man. He was a super huge Iron Man fan. I was a super huge Batman fan. Sam.
Even though you're Iron Man on the
Iron Man is my number 1 on Marvel. Yeah. But Batman is my number 1 overall.
Well, I made you Iron Man in a very bad
icon. You did.
A couple podcasts ago.
That's because we were talking about Marvel.
Yeah.
So, Sam, between those two, who is better? Let me ask you. Come on, this is a clear choice.
I'm out.
You're not going to answer the question?
No.
Sam, the answer is Batman.
My heart wants to say, I want to say Batman, but my heart's going Iron Man.
But the answer is Batman. It's just,
but I don't know.
Empirical.
I don't know. Depends on which Batman.
No.
I do love Batman.
Batman in general. So here's what we did. We broke into 2 groups. I was the leader of mine, the Batman camp, and my friend Jansen was the leader of the Iron Man camp. So we all compiled notes and Wikipedia entries and references and all that fun jazz. On the day of the debate, the teacher made me and Jansen switch teams, which was the biggest fucking bunch of bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
But that's actually a really good way how to debate. Like, if you want to learn how to debate something, go on the side that you don't actually agree with.
Exactly. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah. Because you should do research on yourself, but you're going to do more research on the other person.
And that was the thing, is we swapped researches. So he took all my Batman notes, and I took all of his Iron Man notes, and we debated. And it really did come down to the fact that Batman is just better.
Batman is better.
That was the thing. It was
Sorry,
I was arguing the best I could. I think the crux of my argument was the reason Iron Man is better is because Batman doesn't actually solve a problem. He creates a cycle. Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't kill, that's his rule. He sends them to prison or to the Arkham Asylum, and they break out, wreak havoc, he recaptures them, and it just goes over and over and over and over. Whereas Iron Man actually solves the problem by taking it upon himself to end life. Sanctioned by the government, to be sure. But, like, you don't have the same cycle of destruction that Batman has. That was my argument. A very clear, eloquent argument. Batman's basically is like, yeah, but like Batman is better. And that just like wins the argument because he is. The actual fact that he has a moral code puts him a step above everybody else.
I'm sorry I doubted you for a moment.
Yeah, fuck, God.
I know. I think it's because we just had the Marvel episode.
The fact that he wants the system to work and that's what his goal is.
Yeah.
That's why he's better because Iron Man is just a vigilante. He just like he's judge, jury, and executioner. Mm-hmm. But as Batman is just like, no, I'm stopping you, and then we're going to try and make the court system works.
We're going to try and make you better, too.
Exactly. That's why Batman's better. Mm-hmm. That's why it's good that he doesn't kill.
Yeah.
So, both are good arguments, in my opinion. The class voted for Batman, as they rightly should have.
They probably didn't even vote for Batman because of the evidence. They're just like, I like Batman. I know who Batman is.
I'm not gonna lie, me and Jansen, my buddy, were the only two people in that class who cared.
Yeah.
We did all of the basically it was a class assignment that we did.
Sounds about right.
We kept asking if somebody else wanted to come up and help with the debate, and nobody wanted to.
Yeah.
It was basically he and I going at it. It was really fun. I really do enjoy a good debate.
Especially if you're like with your friend and you're like, oh, I gotta beat this guy. I gotta be better than this guy.
It really was a showdown between the two of us about who was the better debater. Because you're right. When you have to argue on a side you don't believe in, it forces you to be a better debater.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend. But that was my college English class. I had a lot of fun. We didn't really do a whole lot of reading, unfortunately. I wish we had done more. There was a book I had to read that I cannot remember the name of. We had to read the summer before I was actually in school because there was a class that was going to talk about that book. And that ended up being one of the classes I dropped like almost immediately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I read this book for fucking nothing and it wasn't that good of a book.
I think I only ever dropped one class the entire time that I was, being a good student. And that's just because I needed time to work on some animation projects.
Sure.
Because it was such a critical thing at the time.
That was what became when I actually started doing 3D animation. Yeah. It very much was...
It was an art class, too, which kind of killed me on the inside.
Well, that's the thing, is... When I was doing it, I was working full-time and at school full-time. Mm-hmm. And mine was an accelerated curriculum, so... It was one class, 4 hours a day for 5.5 weeks, and then you moved on. So my typical day was school from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., and then I worked at Best Buy from 1 p.m. to about 9:30 p.m., typically, on every day. And then I would go home, get home around 10, and then I would try and decompress from work, which lasted about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's about midnight. And then I would have to do homework, which lasted until 3 or 4 a.m. if I was lucky, and then try and get enough sleep to function the next day at 8 a.m. plus work. I basically lived on 3 hours of sleep for a year and a half.
I was a perpetual motion machine on coffee and pizza.
Yeah, it was basically how I lived. And it was sucked because I was going through like some really bad depression stuff. And when you can't sleep, it hurts. It's like it does not, you can't get better. So, yeah, they told me... Like, everybody told me, oh, it builds character, he said with air quotes. But, like, it does. I'm much more hardened than I was before then, but, like, I was close to death when I was living that schedule. Because it wears on you after time. Not being able to sleep is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
3 hours of sleep a night is not enough. And then I would have days where I'd have to pull all-nighters to get homework done.
I would learn where I could sleep and where I could nap before my classes or in between my classes. When I got my car, I could just I have a flatbed kind of a little hatchback, so I could just put the seat down if I really wanted to. I ended up just sleeping in the back seat a lot.
I wish I could.
Yeah. So I would just do that. I could actually make my car into a bed if I really want to.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I forgot where I was going.
But anyway, so that was my college. I mean, I'm really glad I got my credit. I'm really proud of myself for sticking through it and getting my degrees.
Yeah.
But part of me wonders, what if I had stayed at the university and gone that route?
Yeah, and I'm still in college and whatnot. I'm taking some time off. I had some stuff happen, and my grandfather passed away on top of that, and a few other family members passed away and whatnot.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm still going.
Yeah.
I learned a while back, death is something that's inevitable and whatnot. My grandparents are getting up there. It's sad, and yes, I wish my grandparents were still around and whatnot, and my family members, but I know that this is just a part of life.
Let's move to a happier topic, like Funyuns. Dude, bro, when was the last time you had Funyuns? Don't stare at me. Answer the question.
6th grade.
I encourage all of you, go out, get some Funyuns. They are just as good as you remember.
I'm gonna kill myself now by eating Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Give it another 5 minutes, because we got. All right, just take it out.
I'm just gonna do a diabetic coma right now on air.
Live on air, featuring Sam.
I'm opening it up.
Oh, that was a really good sound effect. We have a live diabetic.
Don't judge me.
Live diabetic
Don't
seizure
judge
in
me.
Progress. Oh, this is an amazing thing to watch. All right, I'm going to commentate on it. All right, she's staring intensely at this thing of ice cream. She's devouring it like an animal. Oh, she's got the brain freeze.
No, the spoon stuck to my lip because it's so frozen. Because it was also in the freezer.
Yeah, why did you put the spoon in the freezer?
Because I wasn't done with it.
But, you could just get another. I have more than one spoon.
Yeah, but I don't want to create more dishes because I'm nice like that.
It's literally a spoon.
You're a spoon.
Literally, it's a spoon.
We were talking about books.
We were talking about books, and now I'm watching you go into a diabetic fit.
Yep.
It's really fun.
Yep.
I'm really excited about what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. All right, well.
Don't call an ambulance. I can't afford it.
Okay. I will do my best to watch. Having watched all of both Scrubs and House, I think I have enough medical knowledge.
By the way, did you know that Lucky Charms has 3 new rainbows?
Oh my god. Sam, are you literally just going to pick up my groceries and shake them?
I'm going to eat them.
Oh my god.
I suddenly need the calories.
So this has just turned into a fucking train wreck. Yeah. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Maybe we'll be back next week, depending on whether Sam survives the next 20 minutes.
I'm not.
I'm really glad she's going real hard at this ice cream right now.
Real hard on
I wish you could see. I wish you could appreciate what I'm seeing. Because
it's cold.
Yeah, she's got brain freeze. Oh man. All right. Well, next week we
hard.
will see you all next time. And this is Chubby Cheese signing off. We love you guys.
And I've been Sammich.
She's been Sam, and she will probably only be Sammich for about another, I'm going to guess, 10 minutes. So maybe next week. We will see. Good night, everybody.
Come back next